sign it. I said, even though you're my stepson and you live with me, you should still read a document. But he didn't give me any objections.
Oh yeah, he needs to get in the habit of reading things he's going to sign. We all need to get in that habit.
I know. I agree.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you should sit there and watch him read those closing papers too. Don't let him just.
I will.
Because something goes wrong, he's going to be like, mommy, something's going wrong.
The good thing is that he's a little bit of a lost puppy, so he's at the door of my office almost every day, all day yesterday. Like, hey, I got this email. Can you help me understand it? So I'm like, what would you do if we didn't live together? But yeah, I mean, I'm helping him through the process, and I'm telling him, like, get a checkbook, learn to read your documents, don't sign blindly.
Good job. All right, tell me some more good news.
My buyer that we were talking about not too long ago with the inspection and everything.
Yeah.
Everything got handled, accepted, and we're past due diligence.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Yes.
Okay. Make sure, as we've discussed, and as we've discussed on the Market Center calls, there are a lot of, particularly in this arena, there are a lot of vendors that are going to be involved in helping you move that contract to the closing table. And many of them are going to have different tolerances for risk. They're going to be under different guidelines for whether they can leave their home, right? And all those people have to work perfectly in alignment for you to get paid. So this is the time to double down on all the communication, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who else got something good?
My buyer's
Anyone
loan
struggling
was
with
approved.
Pam?
My buyer's loan was approved.
Cool. Good for you. Good for you. Hey, Kim, do you mind sharing that story we talked about last night? Let me take you off mute.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So I shared it with Heather and Pam already, so they sort of know the story. Because I paid for some Google ads last weekend just to see how it works through Command, and I didn't really know what to expect from it. And last night I received a call because a potential client Googled what she thought was an open house for another agent in the office because, well, not in our office, but I think the Brookhaven office or Buckhead office.
Yeah,
he forgot to put his phone number on the open house flyer.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
something
to
that
talk to
she
them about that.
Yeah.
It cost me a little cash.
So she Googled and my name popped up, and she called me last night to see the property. But when I looked in the FMLS and I was trying to find him, but I couldn't find him. But afterward, I did look in the FMLS and there was no open house listed. So I called her back and to try to set up an appointment to show her the property today. And she said it was for her mom, that she had just moved in and she wanted her mom to see this apartment in this condo in her building, which sort of brought up some red flags for me because I'm thinking, what young person wants their mom to live 2 doors down from them? So I was a little hesitant about, is she a real lead or not? But anyway, so I called Pam and I called Heather to find out if one of them would be available today to show the lady the condo, and Heather was available. So I called the lead back and just to kind of get a little bit more information to see if it was real. And she sort of was like, well, I haven't gotten in touch with my mom and this is really for her. And so I started digging like, well, how did you said you just moved in. So where's your realtor? Like, who did you use? And she's like, well, I didn't really get that far. And so it was kind of like a bunch of red flags. I was kind of thinking, she's not real, but so I didn't want to offend her. I just said, hey, so maybe I could get your mom's contact information and reach out to her, and I could follow up with her and show her some properties. She wasn't willing to give me her mom's information, but she did give me her information. So I sent her my app. I added her in my database, and who knows what will come of it, but you know, I did follow up with her, you know, last night just to check in and say, hey, you know, did you and your mom make a decision about seeing the condo today? And she just said she couldn't reach her mom. So I sent her the app, I added her to my database, and that's kind of how we ended things last night.
Beautiful. So do you know how much money you spent on that Google ad?
So it was to run all week, all of this week.
Yeah.
And I think I spent like $12 or something like that, $13. Yeah.
You spent $12 and you're going to get paid how much if this deal closes?
Well, that particular place is listed for 260 something. So I don't know, Bill, you do the math. I don't know what that is.
No, we can all do 3% of that. I can do 3% of every number.
Okay.
That's about $8,000.
Okay. Yeah.
Even if you split it with somebody.
Yes.
I'd say that's a
Sounds
pretty good return on your investment. Guys, I would
Yeah.
try it. Just spend $5. Just try it. These leads are coming in at an average of about $1, a little over $1 through command. There are videos. I sent you a gentleman named Nick Baldwin that I think everyone should be following. Also a Facebook group called Command Your Conversion. And there's another one called KW Command. Follow these groups. And Sam, of course, as well. He's got videos on all this stuff on how to do command ads. Prior to or outside of command, the internet says that an average internet lead is about $55 a piece. Now, still, that's a pretty good return, right? However, if you can get a lead for $1, is that a better return?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's also do a little housekeeping on the Shift book. Has anyone been continuing to read the Shift book?
Yes.
Anyone have a copy within arm's reach of them? Heather, Kathy, oh, this is my, oh, you guys are making me so happy. Stephanie, that's never gonna happen to you again, is it?
Mine's on my screen, my home screen. You want me to share it?
No, it's okay, I trust you.
I
Okay,
have mine on the Audible.
Steph,
Okay.
I thought you were at the lake.
I'm leaving in just a little bit.
okay. I wanna do tactic, let's read tactic 2 before our call tomorrow morning, okay? Tactic 2, we've been talking about these concepts for a little while. Remargin your business and expense management. Okay.
Okay.
I also want you, when you're reading this, this section, I want you to be thinking about your personal budget as well. Okay. You know, we don't know what's going to happen with the market. Trump's talking about getting back on track by Easter. I don't think that's going to happen personally.
Yeah.
However, this is a good time to examine your expenses. Your expenses are going to identify what poor habits, or if you have poor habits. So for example, if you, I'll give you an example of a poor habit I have. I probably spend, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 bucks a month on Smoothie King. Like, kind of ridiculous, right?
Does it make you
A
feel
lot of
good now?
smiles from people. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, if I really want a smoothie that bad, I can just make one at home and, you know, not spend that kind of money. Or, you know, when you, it could be anything. It could be a $5 cup of Starbucks coffee instead of making one at home for 30 cents, right? So examine where you're spending your dollars. And I taught the other day to separate them into 3 categories. The first is, these are things that I absolutely must have, right? Grocery store, for example, gas, for example. Then there's another category where it is things that you have become accustomed to because of the income and lifestyle that you're used to having, right? And and that may change, right? That may change in light of what's going on in our economy. So those things should be put on the table and be asked to defend themselves, right? And then there are things that are just essentially a complete waste of money, right? You're not getting any value from them anymore, right? So those things should go. I'm going to challenge you guys to examine your business budget and your personal budget, because there is, every single one of us can shave a little bit of cash off of what we're spending right now. And this cash is going to be Imagine if you shaved $12 off and then you threw that into a command ad and you parlayed that into 8 grand. Wouldn't that be nice?
Definitely.
I could basically trade a smoothie for a closing. Right?
Wow.
I've twisted it in my brain to challenge myself to see how much I can save
Yeah.
during this time. Like, oh, if I was buying Starbucks every day, twice a day, like what's that going to account to at the end of the week?
Right. Like at 8:30. So there's a wing place right around the corner from me, and they close at 9:30. And at like 8:30 or 8 o'clock, I start getting the feeling for some wings.
Yeah.
And then my wife tries to distract me a little bit, and then it works for like 15 minutes, and then I'm like, I kind of want some wings. She tries to distract me a little bit, and then the next thing you know, it's too late to get wings.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you might have to play some tricks on you, as they say in The One Thing, right? You have to build a bunker, right? You have to get rid of the distractions, right? So I know we're off course a little bit, but I want to make sure that you're examining your money. Big, super, super important. Did anyone get a chance to look at the Ignite material from yesterday?
I just looked at it this morning.
What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I went through just a few of them and I felt like it looked a little redundant, but I didn't actually get to read through everything. So I gave it a brief glance.
Okay.
So I have to go through it.
So if you go and look at, 50 different script books, you're going to find a lot of the same scripts.
Right.
I would just encourage you to become relatively familiar with the curriculum, right? If there's one thing that you pick up while reviewing that curriculum that you can input into your business right away and create another successful habit, it's going to be worth its time. Make sense?
Yes, I did that this morning too, Bill, with the Ignite. I kind of went to the prospecting. I wanted to see the difference in what Melba taught last October and the new, what it looked like now.
Yeah.
And so I did pick up a little bit of some new information just about my social media and doing the social media. I always knew you could not ignore it once you put something out there. But then if somebody responds to it, you should probably follow up with the person who had the response. And I don't tend to you should probably call them or.
Let me make a few comments on social media really fast. There's some I forget which week it is. I think it might be week 3 or 4 in Ramp Up that talks a lot about social media. And it's going to be really important I'm a little bit of a conservative guy on social media, just not conservative, but in terms of what I put out there. Make sure people are really, when you get a chance to, let's say, Kim, you set an appointment with somebody and they don't really know who you are. They're going to go to your social media to try to figure out who you are. Right. And you should go to their social media to try to figure out who they are. So I think the biggest takeaways are you want to be authentic, but you want to be non-controversial, right? Like I wouldn't be posting a whole lot of political stuff, a whole lot of religious stuff, a whole lot of, inappropriate jokes. I wouldn't be posting pictures of you doing, getting wasted and these kind of things. Just understand that people are going to be looking to verify that you are a professional, right? As soon as they see that you're a professional, they're cool. But if you say, "Oh, I love Trump," you just isolated. You just pissed off half the country. And if you say, "Oh, I hate Trump," you pissed off half the other side of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So just be aware of how you're communicating online. And then please, if somebody's going to interact with you on social media, you better interact right back with them. But be authentic. That's one thing I will put a shout out to Heather and Shauna and Brooke. Like you guys are very authentic online, and I think that is something that's missing, quite honestly, from a lot of people. They just they want to take 25 takes of them saying something, and that's just, first of all, it's a waste of time,
Right.
and secondly, that's not it's not really who you are. Like if there's a little blip in your speech, like smile about it. Like you're human.
Right.
Do you want to, do you guys want to share anything about that really quickly?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Shauna. Yeah, I think it's completely true. To be authentic and to be online. I mean, I post about pretty much everything and I have no issue with that. But there's something to say, like some of my buyers in the past have said, one, they do check you out online. Two, they want to see that you're human. They want to see that you're living. What are you doing on the daily? Is this just what you're all about? Is it just really about their buy and just them and the money? Or what are you doing online? And when I post something, when I'm posting about food, or if I'm like talking to my chickens, it's daily real life, and they really appreciate that. And those have been the comments that I get at the end. We appreciate that it wasn't just about the money, but it really was about us helping us find the right place. But also, you're a normal person. Like, you've got kids and you're running around and you're exhausted. You post about that and you talk to your chickens and you love your animals, and we see that and we appreciate that.
Yeah.
So don't change that. Keep that up and keep that posting, and have more of that, more so than reaching out. So there has to be a balance of what you're posting.
Yeah,
If that
and
makes
you want to,
sense.
I think you want to err on the things that are important and impactful for the consumer, for your
Right.
audience. So like posting something about, you know, a new listing 3 times a day, that's not particularly, I know it feels like a good channel to do that, but you want to make sure that you're, that it's not all real estate, like
Right.
like Shanna was suggesting, and that it's not all about you.
I like to make it really light and airy and funny. Like, you know, I try to bring a little bit of humor to things, situations. I have 5 kids at home and 2 dogs and a man working from home right now. I could literally be losing my mind all day long. But I'll spin it into like a nice bit of humor. Like the other day, I was like, "Okay, y'all, I'm PMSing, so pray for these boys." Like, you know, it's genuine. Like, I feel like these last couple of days, I want to strangle them all, and they're just breathing, right? So, like, I just put that out there, and like, you know, Facebook land. My whole family's in New York, so it's a huge way for me to communicate with them. And still be funny, because I can't make all these phone calls all the time. And so, you know, I try to take real life and then just sprinkle some humor on it or sarcasm. But, you know, in my youth and when I became a realtor, I'll tell you guys, when I went through Ignite, because I love politics, and way before Trump came into picture, one of my favorite things to do is debate about it. When I started Ignite in 2018 with Miss Melba, she was like, go through your Facebook and clean out.
Yep.
Because people will scroll forever. And I did.
Yep.
I cleaned out tons of things. I mean, some of these debates would be borderline controversial just because I appreciated people with different points of views. And I just thought, you know what, this is not it. Because what happens is your clients, the ones that you're like close with, they're going to want to friend you. Not only are they going to vet you before you work with them, but then they're going to want to friend you afterwards.
Yep.
And you've got to keep it a clear channel.
Yep, completely agree. Good job. Okay, couple of housekeeping things real fast. Remember, the big kind of session today is going to be at 2 o'clock. We're going to have a little bit of time we'll spend kind of catch-all, celebrating things and talking about challenges that we're in solutions. And then we moved the high ability class to 12 o'clock today. I'm on the KWRI Profit Share Task Force. We have a call at 3, so I have to hop on that. So the high accountability call will be at 12, or session will be at 12. Here's the idea that I have behind this is high accountability. Who I have in mind for high accountability is people that I can, I mean, quite frankly, that want high accountability. If they tell me they want to reach 20 people a day and they reach 18, that's not okay. You told me 20. Right? So it's going to be a little bit more straight talk, but I will tell you that the people that bring more straight talk into their lives, they change their behavior and they change their habits. And as a result, they generally change the results. Part of the high accountability group is going to be some reporting, like some pretty aggressive reporting. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you kind of want to see how it goes, come on in, let's chat about it. I want to remind everyone that if you do not have a GPS, let's start with the GPS. If you do not have a GPS, or you don't even know what I'm talking about, or you want, another set of eyes to look at it so I can give you some feedback, please send it to me. And I will kind of comb through that with you and give you some suggestions so that we can have a nice, pretty GPS. And then we take that and we make a nice, pretty 411. And then you stare at that all day long so you know exactly what to do.
Can we share the GPS that we did in the ramp book in the beginning, or should I create a new one?
I think that, I mean, if you're still using that, if that's still relevant, absolutely.
I've got to revisit it, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do Friday during the morning session. We will do a review of Tactic 2. I'm sorry, let's do that tomorrow. Thursday, in the morning session, we'll do Tactic 2. And then we had spent some time going through the seller listing agreement and the buyer brokerage agreement. What's the next contract people want to look at?
Purchase and sale.
Purchase and sale. All right, let's
Oh,
do
I
purchase and
thought you were
sale.
just asking what people want to look at, like your clients. That's what I thought you were asking that.
Oh, I want to, I'm asking if there's a contract that you guys want a little bit more clarity around, either understanding or kind of giving a short review to your client, setting expectations, that kind of thing.
I think you should go through purchase and sale for the new.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like
All
it.
right, so we'll do that on
Okay,
Friday.
I meant that.
We'll do that on Friday.
Kathy.
Okay, is there anybody that has a need right now that has not been addressed? Everyone happy, healthy, safe?
Hey, I forgot. I did want to share something good this morning because something bad happened yesterday, and I was paralyzed by that this morning. My listing that went under contract last week, they had the inspection on Monday, and then yesterday they found out that they couldn't have bees or chickens in that neighborhood. Now the buyer's agent didn't know. That was an absolute must for them. When I met them at the open house, they didn't say anything about bees or chickens. They wanted to know about kids in the neighborhood and could their son ride his bike to school, which it's yes to both of them. So that was just shocking yesterday, but we'll get it back under contract. We have somebody else interested in it.
Crazy.
But so yesterday when I was calling past clients, I had to leave a couple of messages, but everybody called me back. And one of my clients said, "Hey, guess what I did?" And I said, "You got your license." She said, "I just passed a state exam." Yeah, she said, "I didn't know." She said, "I don't know what to do next." I said, "You need to be with Keller Williams no matter what." So she lives in Dahlonega, but she's moving to Jasper. And they're building a house in Jasper, which I knew we had found them land last year to do that. But anyway, she has an appointment at 1:30 today to talk to Aubrey, and I got her hooked up with Hannah Morris, and Hannah was on the phone with her for about an hour.
Awesome.
So she said it was such a fun experience selling the house with you that I thought I need to get my license. And she used to be a teacher. So
That makes sense.
Leslie Peters, Joanne Curtin, Jan Singletary. She's going to be
And me.
Who else was a teacher?
Heather was a teacher.
Oh, that's right.
I homeschooled her.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, teachers make some of the best real estate agents because they have patience, they are naturally organized, and they generally have a bigger heart than most people do. Right?
I agree with everything but the naturally organized, but you know.
Well, I said naturally organized, but you can adjust if necessary, right?
Exactly.
Great job. Isn't it cool? Like when you finally get an opportunity to have one of those conversations with somebody, you realize that like when it was over, no one got hurt. Like you were able to share your story. Like you were able to inspire somebody, and there's a chance that you might actually have an ongoing revenue stream from that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good job. I sent out, so in the years prior to being a team leader, I was checking with people that had just passed the real estate test. I did that in Georgia for a couple of years and in Virginia for a couple of years. And we texted about 300 people over the last 2 days. Well, my assistant did it, and I'm responding to it all. And I've already had like 3 or 4 conversations. I've already set up 2 or 3 appointments. Some people are out of the business, so I deleted them from the system, no big deal. But some people are struggling. They need help, right? All right, I got to hop on the leadership call. You guys, thank you so much for a couple last minute things. Don't forget Tactic 2. We're going to review the purchase sale on Friday. If you do not have a GPS or you want me to review your first version of it, please send it to me directly. Don't forget to access the YouTube channel. I'm just one day behind it. The last session from yesterday, the buyer presentation is what do you call it? Syncing or whatever. And any questions that you have, please let me know. Okay.
Cool. Do you have blank copies of the GPS M411, just in case?
Yes, there are blank copies of both in the Google Drive.
The Drive? Okay,
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. Anything
I
you
mean,
need?
I
let me know.
haven't filled out. I'm just asking.
No, of course.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Bye.
You too.
Thanks, Bill.
Bye. Thanks.